The Last Goodbye. A cold wind whispered through the trees as the last of the mourners drifted away, leaving James standing alone by the open grave. Beside him sat Max, his father's old golden retriever, his once bright eyes dulled by age and sorrow. The dog whimpered softly, his head resting against the fresh mound of dirt. James crouched beside him, running a hand through his fur. "He's gone, buddy," he whispered. Max let out a low, aching whine, and in that moment James realized something. Max understood. He had just lost his best friend. That night, James took Max home. He placed his father's old flannel blanket in the dog's bed, hoping it would bring him comfort. But when he woke up the next morning, Max was gone. James searched the neighborhood, calling out his name, but there was no sign of him. 3 days passed, then a phone call. "Mr. Carter," the voice on the other end said, "this might sound strange, but there's a dog at the cemetery. He's been digging at your father's grave." James felt a lump rise in his throat. Max. James drove to the cemetery, his hands gripping the steering wheel tighter than usual. When he arrived, his heart shattered. There was Max, his paws covered in dirt, his fur tangled, his body trembling. He had dug deep into the earth, as if trying to reach his owner. James fell to his knees beside him. "Max, what are you doing?" The dog looked up at him, his eyes filled with something James had never seen before. Desperation, grief, love. James wrapped his arms around him and carried him home. But the next day, Max was gone again, and once more he was found at the grave. This happened 3 times, until finally James understood. Max didn't want to leave. The final goodbye. James made the hardest decision of his life. He drove back to the cemetery, opened the car door and let Max out. "All right, boy," he whispered. "If this is where you need to be, then this is where I'll let you stay." Max didn't hesitate. He laid down on the grave and refused to move. James brought him food, but Max didn't eat. He brought him water, but Max didn't drink. He stayed, watching, guarding, waiting. For an entire week, Max never left his master's side. And then, one morning, James found him there, still, his old body curled up right on top of the grave. A soft breeze rustled through the trees. James felt his chest tighten as he knelt beside him. Max had finally gone home, together again, forever. Some bonds are unbreakable, some love never fades. Max was never just a dog, he was family. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. More emotional and heartfelt stories coming soon.